Today on It's Just Tuesday, and my name is Kato. We will be talking about women in today's politics. Should we say in Nigeria or? In Nigeria, let's take it to Nigeria. We have enough issues to deal with here before we go out. So yeah. So on my left is
Maryam, Shettima,
and Simi Olusola.
Okay. So I've said it. I'm Kato. Maryam is of the ruling party, APC, very involved.
Yeah.
And
Partyless.
She's partyless.
MPP, no political party.
Oh, that's a new one. Do you have any interest in going to politics?
Yes, I do actually. But it's on the back burner. But so first, I'm really passionate about governance. I was saying some years to come. And in particular, I'm talking about the legislation.
Yes, right.
That's the laws. I feel like the laws rule everything. So that's where we need to.
I think it's important. I mean, that's where I want to get into. I'm not.
I think like for everyone, I think like even for me, like look at my background in the medical field. Supposed to be, yeah. But when you keep seeing things and really where they should, you would start before you realize it, you find yourself consumed in politics, because that's the only way one can actually penetrate and be able to make those changes that are needed.
Speaking of the medical field, not that I'm selling any party, but I remember one of my first political meetings. It was with a medical doctor turned governor, and that would be really cool. And so he said that even before he got into power, like he was already doing outreaches and everything, like he believed in free healthcare.
Absolutely.
So he now thought to himself, look, I'm already doing these things, but I need power to execute it on that level. So
it's alright.
Right. I'm going to this, legislative arm of government. Why? I cannot administer anything. I'm an administrator. I'm not executive. No, it's not for me. I think the laws have it and we should get there. So anyway, back to the topic. We have this administration and women representation in it, which is the number of women ministers, women in office, women. Do we have ambassadors yet?
Yes, we do.
Women. How many?
I couldn't really tell you.
But no ministers are 5.
We're 6, and now we're 5.
Yeah.
So how do
it's quite commendable. I think it's not bad at all for this administration.
I beg to differ on that. Yeah, 5 is commendable out of 36.
Well, definitely the president is not unaware of the fact that women need to be included more, and is pretty much aware of their contribution towards this administration so I believe that as time goes by, just lately there were talks of more appointments, and I believe that we will expect. I'm very optimistic there will be more ladies definitely in this.
It looks to me like
it does not necessarily have to be a minister, by the way, because you could be somewhere and be far more powerful than a minister. Like for example, look at Activist Simi Olusola. This is the first administration ever that a lady headed that place. I mean, I'm always proud to boldly say that. And that has never happened before, despite the fact that the president is in conservative where he's pretty much passionate about women. As well.
I'm not sure how well that goes down with me, because it doesn't look to me like he's passionate about women in his administration. So you say he's very aware of that.
Absolutely, he is. Because when he does it, he goes all the way. When he does it, he really empowers them and gives them some really powerful positions.
Okay, but here's what I think.
I was here. Yeah, and one thing we should commend him for is competence. He's very much particular about competence. Competence for him comes first always. So if you're competent enough to serve that purpose, then fine and good. And if you happen to be a lady, even better.
So coming back to competence, if you can find a minister from each state, if that allowance is there to have one minister from each of the 36 states,
right?
And it's based on competence, how hard is it to find a woman? If you can make that allowance for 36 states.
Don't get me wrong. I never said women weren't competent.
No, we're not saying that. Exactly. If you can find people from 36 states, why can't that same value of finding ministers from all the 36 states? Why can't we put that same value to equal representation of the women?
You and I know that we are in a democratic setting, So it's not entirely up to him to make those nominations. There are a lot of things that need to be carried along. Lots of people. The governors would also have their nominees as well. And of course, there is the party affiliation as well. If perhaps the person somebody would have wanted to become a minister is from the opposition party, then of course the people from the ruling party stand a better chance of being appointed.
Well, I'm just saying that competence should be the
absolutely.
So now we're bringing political affiliations, nominees into it. So which one actually weighs more?
All of them. You and I know that in a democratic setting, all these things play some subtle roles here and there.
Can we see the box stops? Can we see the box stops at the president's table? I mean, he's the #1 person.
He is the #1 person. He's a team player. He's a team player, and
so it means
entirely.
It's not the president, but the team doesn't want more women.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I believe this government is open-minded enough to include women in a lot of things.
So are we looking towards like better participation in the future? Keep in mind though that we are already 3 years. In 3 years, in fact, we are in election season right now.
Yes.
Anything that is being done now will be considered campaign
for the votes.
So we still say that.
I beg to differ. I don't see it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, I beg to differ. I wouldn't consider moves to include more women now as a means of trying to win more votes. So I don't think so, because I mean really. Like where I come from, like not everyone even votes. Like ladies sometimes are mostly at home. It's mostly the guys that vote.
So it's a big problem.
Absolutely. This is where the problems start. And sometimes there are the religious restrictions as well. Somebody may be more than competent, but then their spouses may not favor them, may not want them to be out there in the public glare. So these are all part of the things that one needs to consider.
What you just said, I mean, it's taking us away. It reminds me of the Algerian case.
Algeria,
women are not allowed to do certain things. People to put pictures.
Yes, I remember. We covered that. We covered that when women, the posters, the campaign posters for women, their faces were blank.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. In Algeria.
Oh, okay.
So people were not supposed to see.
It's not as extreme as that.
It's not as, but carry on.
Yeah, I would say that it's just a matter of principle. Some people just are naturally protective when it comes to their ladies or their wives or their women, and sometimes it's even jealousy. You just would not want to see. You would start to think your wife would start to mingle with lots of men, do this and that. She will not be completely under your control. Sometimes it's chauvinism, lots of things.
But she needs to be completely under your control. But that's another.
That's another conversation. Let's move forward. So 2015 elections. 2015 elections came, and it was one hell of an election. I mean, we're just talking about how wild that election was.
It was vicious.
Vicious is
absolutely very vicious.
Some of us got burnt. I found myself becoming a wild animal. Like someone could say, "Good morning," like I'm waiting for you. Like I was waiting. Like throw that insult. I will get that.
But I think that the reason why it got so vehement was due to the fact that people were just so fed up. Lots of people were constantly being bombed and killed all the time. During the previous administration, I mean, there was just so much psychological trauma. There was so much looting. So obviously, everyone came out, en masse to just make sure that this thing is becomes a thing of the past.
So the elections have come and gone.
Right.
There are obvious winners, obvious losers, but then we have women.
Losers.
You didn't let me laugh. Let me laugh. Oh my god, I didn't get that. Oh my god. Okay, so I was going to say that women in either party, be it PDP, APC, let's go to COA, Labour Party, there were obvious winners and losers, but women as a whole, as body, as a group of people, where did we fall? Were we winners in the last elections? Were we losers in the last election? And my darling, this is not a party thing.
It's not a party thing. I agree with you, but still, I would say we were winners.
How
for me, we were winners because the bottom line is security. For any country to be successful and progressive, it has to be secured.
Yes, but we're talking
Exactly.
we're talking in terms of political participation, in terms of women in the political sphere. So this is not, I mean, there can be a conversation about women, the lives of women.
I think if participation could come in various ways, depending on one's perception.
No, out of 109. And
this is
14 out of 360.
That is clear. This has nothing to do with what President Buhari did or did not do. This is the elections. We're from the Northwest, for example. We don't have a single woman in state.
That's a serious thing.
We don't have women in the Senate. Like we don't have any woman right now in the legislative arm of government doing anything in the Northwest. And I come from the Northwest, and it's embarrassing, I'll say, for me. Like, where do you start telling people this thing? So you're fighting for more women inclusion, like, okay, so your region, you're saying that we don't have.
Exactly. I think really we have got a long way to go there, you know, exactly. But I think we will get there eventually. Because I feel like the first thing that needs to happen is for us to be fully empowered. And educated. And exactly, you know, there's been a program lately that the president has rolled out, you know, for women empowerment through the social intervention program, you know. So I think like 1.6 billion was budgeted to
yes, but if it's a social intervention program,
expand their access to credit as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Because for me, like in the Northwest, you know, today something happened today at a program I was speaking at, and a Kenyan woman came to speak, and she said, you know, in Kenya, they try to do this thing where they let women who are not particularly, who are not fluent in English, who can't speak English and not educated, communicate in the language they feel comfortable. You know, so we had a woman from Kato.
I like that.
Yes, we had a woman from Kato. Like, based on that, you know, we learned quickly.
Yeah.
Because I always talk about how our politics is quite elitist. You know, when we're talking,
it's so
we are here in Abuja or in the urban areas. And then when we go to the women in the rural areas, like we're bending down, like, oh hi, me, savior from the city, savior from the city. You know, so they allow. Anyway, where I'm going with this is the other woman from Kano come to speak, and she said in her Hausa and the comfort of her Hausa language, also there was a translator. She said that they came out en masse. You know, she came out for councillor, and the men said, "Who do the women think they are to come out against them?" So it was a lot of. In fact, she said her own children stopped talking to her.
So it's a thing of we versus them.
Yes, during elections, and so it was a lot, you know, to take in. That for me, you know, my time on the panel, I told them where I come from. You know, they always tell us when the work I do for my people, I get doing really good. Our daughter. Then they say, you know, if you were a man, you would have said that.
Oh,
yes. So forward. Yeah, they said if you are a man, would have said that Southern Africa has found a new leader, but you are a woman.
So, and a woman can't be a leader.
Yeah, they said that.
Would you say that was more of a regional thing, or would it be culture?
Does it happen?
So I think maybe would it be slightly better? But down the south, I think it's still the same thing.
Absolutely, it's everywhere, slightly.
You know what the angle I look at this thing from, right, is, look, there's very few, if you like, look at the number of ministers, the number of aides and everything, but at the end of the day, compared to the number of politicians, the number of people looking for positions, there are very few positions and very many people. Very many politicians. So everybody is going to use what it is they can use to enter a place. And most men will just throw around the female thing, like you're a woman, brother. So that's one less lesson. That's one less competition. And every time, you know, this happens. So in view of that, though, let me let you have this floor. We have 8 women.
8 women.
Senate?
Yes.
And how many in the House of Representatives?
14 out of 360. I mean, you know, they need to compare, not just 8. No, 14 out of 360, 8 out of 109.
How do you feel about that?
Miserable. I feel miserable. So I can say, I mean, and clearly we need more women inclusion. But all I'm saying is that I'm optimistic that.
You're so optimistic.
I am optimistic that. I am very optimistic. You have to be.
Some of that optimism.
Seriously, and it works wonders. Believe me, you should learn to be optimistic all the time. I believe we will see a sudden shift in that very soon because of this empowerment. Because, like I said, it all starts with empowerment. If they're financially able to come out and be bold enough to contest, then we would have.
Well, you're right. I mean, we're talking about that.
And they will be more vocal. They'll be more vocal.
Yes,
it gives you that confidence.
The
You want to
truth
challenge everyone.
Some of the things that happen with respect to, like, you know, we were discussing these issues where they have tried to create some things to make it easier for women in the political sphere, and it doesn't really work. Some of those things. To be very honest, women need to be empowered. You need to have money, and it's not just Nigerian politics.
Absolutely.
American politics, Saudi politics, if there's such a thing.
You mentioned that.
Yes. You need money, and you need loads of money. Hillary Clinton raised $500 and something million for that election.
Did not win, sadly.
And so when it comes to Nigerian politics, you know, they try to, okay, let's ease it for women this way. Get your forms free. But the value of a free form has no value. Let's start there. Like, a free form. And so everybody's looking at you like, okay, yeah.
Would you rather we start to pay as well?
Yes. The truth, let's be honest. Any woman that made it through, any woman that made it through, like she got that primary, like after getting her form, even if they told you the form is free, she paid.
Exactly.
Let's be honest, yes. Any woman, like she had to pay something. You have to drop something.
It didn't have to be,
Anyway, so moving from this, you know, our case is special. Young women in politics. Because let's get this straight. When they say women in politics, it's not
young women never thought about
us.
We're not
women in politics has us like left to the system that is on ground. Your job at every gathering is to serve drinks. You run around, arrange the chairs, set up everything. Yes, like the podium needs to move from here to there. Come on, girls. Carry from, you know. I think we've actually fought it. Let's see, this is the one where I'll use my optimism. I think we have fought. We have fought and we have fought and we have fought. I don't think, like I said, when they say young people in politics, like youths in the party setting, it's not us still, it's young men. When they say women, it's not us. So what is the way going forward? Because I know, and not to disrespect, you know, certain positions. When I'm talking of inclusion in politics, I know yes, it's good to start from somewhere, but I don't see some positions that are kind of like messenger positions as inclusion. You know, you barely have a seat at the table. In fact, you go to a lot of meetings and people that say that, oh, they are included because they got certain appointments. Even those of us are not in power, we sit at these tables and have conversations. But these people that are appointed cannot sit there. That you're on one errand or the other, or doing repertoire work.
I think so. It narrows down to the fact that majority carry the vote. Men naturally have the overwhelming majority of the politicians in Nigeria and almost everywhere in the world. I mean, we just mentioned Hillary. If Hillary, in a so-called advanced society like the US, a lady could still suffer such setbacks because of her gender. Exactly. And definitely, you know that this is a global issue. It's not just. And I think that the best way forward is when we don't give up, when we keep on asking, we keep demanding for what we believe is rightfully ours, until we eventually get it. Yeah, I would like to put an example during the slavery time in the US. You know, I wouldn't really say slavery, but remember there was so much discrimination that, you know, black ladies or black people were not supposed to even sit in the bus and all that. And then remember the lady. Sorry, I can't remember the name, but she fought them, and from then onwards, I mean, that made a lot of difference. We still have to start from somewhere, and we need to appreciate our little baby steps, and we need that optimism to push us forward.
But beyond optimism, what are we doing about this? What are we doing? Okay, this is where we want to. I think there has to be a plan.
Exactly.
So this is what we want. Okay, 2019, we have to do better than 2015. What are we doing towards 2019 to ensure that, okay, this is where we want to be by 2019, and then of course 2023, you know, there has to be short-term
timelines, exactly, a timeline.
Are there things we're doing? I
don't know if there are really things being done right now, because I can't see, if they're small, but actually I can't see anything that would really cause this change that we want. And for me, I think there are two main things that need to be done. Massive education.
Yeah.
And the second is support. I mean, we need to have women's groups support, push. Do you imagine if there were like clusters of women groups all over, they were all connected, that have that education, they know. I mean, it will show you how, as simple as brothers' education can change things around. And so when we have clusters of women who have this education, who have been part, and then they support each other, I think that would create really this change.
I totally agree with you because I think there's a total disconnect. Sometimes that leads to lots of misunderstanding, and then nobody wants to be a follower, everyone wants to be a leader, and then from that on you would start to see all sorts of problems arising. There are so many cracks here and there. I mean, the ladies themselves have got issues. That's the problem.
What kind of issues? Well, everyone has issues. Everyone has issues.
Seriously, you and I know that ladies have got issues.
No, you and I know.
Well, I do.
Everyone has issues. Issues are not gender specific.
Yes.
Issues are not gender specific.
I mentioned it for there.
Wow. I'll say Zimbabwe of here. Zimbabwe of yesterday.
Yeah.
Their women groups managed to come under one umbrella. Of course, you can't compare the size of the country and everything, but I'm just giving an example. Their women groups managed to come under an umbrella. And just last week, was it last week or upper week? This month, they got funds from which country has the feminist government now?
Is that Rwanda?
No, that's in Europe. And they got funds like $450 million so because of their level of coordination. For some of the work, I'll say I am we're trying to do right now for girls is catching them young. So we started this organization called Politician. That's Politician and SHE.
Okay.
And we are printing books for girls because for me, I didn't meet my role models, women I wanted to be like.
Exactly.
I didn't see them till perhaps uni.
Or when
I was about entering uni, that's when I was like, oh wow, I think I like Christina Mampua. I think I like what she's doing. So I didn't see this. What we're trying to what we are doing now is something called the Role Model series. So there are books for girls.
Right.
And so the first series is an ABCD book. The when girls open it, instead of seeing A for apple, it's A for Amina Mohammed.
Fantastic.
Yes, I wish I put them, and I wish I did that.
Yeah.
So A for Amina Mohammed, B for Bat is for young girls.
No, what?
B for Banda Joy, C for so it exposes and there are a lot of women doing things in this country. You find that even Somalia,
oh my God, look at them! Yeah, they encourage them.
Yeah, and for Kenya, for example, we covered a lot of women activities in Kenya. Kenya now has 3 women governors, and that's a very nascent democracy. Yes, they have 3 women governors, 24 women in House of Representatives, and I think 3 women senators. So these are people that, and then you find out that there has been a kind of push for them to get to this.
It didn't just happen
so
random.
we have to. This is one of the things we're doing, and the second is that the stories of women are not told. The stories of women are not told. So we have this website where, if a female politician wakes up this morning and she thinks, oh, I'm happy today, we report, oh, this female politician is happy today. She walked to the supermarket. Oh, she walked to the supermarket today. So those are, I think, telling women's stories more, making politics palatable. And then for
relatable.
Yes, relatable. That is why if our party is doing anything like conventions, I'm very involved in those things. I take backstage photos because I'm very young, 28. So I like people to know that this thing is doable. It's very possible. Like, yeah, your mates are also partying, but your mates are doing this too. And this is so make it open, make people know that this thing is not so hidden. So what are you were talking of some projects you were on to for
Yes, we believe it's a new project we intend to launch very soon, and it's about that waking up that patriotism in us. That Nigeria, you have to think of your country first, and then it's from there that you would want to assess things and analyze them and see the best way you could really contribute your quota and make that little difference that's needed to just push the whole thing forward.
And that's a good project.
Exactly.
Again, if you wake up
nothing is too little, nothing is too much.
If you wake up today and you feel, I'm happy about Wibinibu.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm sure there will be lots of that. Even you would be happy about that.
And you?
So I run an organization, an NGO called Activist Foundation, and we've recently designed a new project. It's called Citizens Platform. And what we want to do is go into the grassroots, local and get young people with the focus on women, and take them through the process of active citizenship, like train them. I mean, this is what you should do as a citizen. This is what to look out for when you're voting. This is what voting should be. This is what this is how you engage with the people that represent you. This is how you get your voice to be heard. So we're starting that project next year, and we're just going all out. People really need to know. People don't know, and we need to raise that critical mass of people who speak and demand and say.
And the important thing again is that critical mass, because it seems like there's a lack of critical thinking in thoughts, deep thoughts.
It's not encouraged. Yeah, exactly.
In 2015, I always asked how. You know, people would say, I noticed that in political conversations, and I hate when conversations are not elevated. And this is irrespective of party. I face that in my own party too. Where people like, this candidate, he is the man of the moment. He can do this, or she can do this.
Yeah.
She is great. She will create this.
Exactly.
How?
Questions we need to teach people to ask.
You need to teach people to ask the how. And I also believe that, you know what, look, this thing that we want people to become aware, to become more interested in politics, I think it's from more involved. It's from letting them ask more questions. Exactly. It's from introducing that critical thought. It's from, look, don't be satisfied with, I'll build 50 maize farms for you. How? What is the distribution process going to be? Okay, your 5-year plan. How is it going to happen? How are we going to get this? How are we going to get done with? People need to ask questions. So, are we running out of time? I think we have a few minutes to. So I have this issue with women and negotiating our place. Okay. See, we're not too young to run. The day they were going to do that bill at the National Assembly, we were there in the morning. We're ready. If you don't sign this thing, I was there with my white shirt and it's like, we are waiting. If you don't sign it, we'll now bring out the paper. Whose house of reps member? Okay. Who's senator? Okay, it's you, but we will meet. You know, we were ready. And of course, those that didn't vote, they're safe because we got what we wanted. Now, you see that when youths came out to negotiate this time around, lessons were learned. Youths did not negotiate from a begging point of view, like, this is what we want. This is, you know, do you understand? And what I noticed is a lot of us, with our groups and not to downplay the role of women groups, because we have come quite far because of the work of a lot of women before us. Yes. So I mean, look at EOM, for example. EOM and then Nigerian Women's Trust Fund was her idea. And then look at BC Fayemi and the wonderful work she does. Yes. So you can't downplay that, but we also have to look at the greater mass, you know, the larger mass of women groups, and how, you know, is the rank a day negotiation. You know, yes, courtesy calls, good evenings, and then, you know, I remember sitting with a women leader of political party one time, she was bragging to us how they negotiated positions for women, and they got councillor here, they got councillor, deputy. Is it the vice chairman of the government or something? Is it deputy or vice? One thing there, and I was thinking like, wow, is this what we are going to be excited about at this point? You know, I think that we also have to realize as women, recognize the fact that, look, women do organize better. Have you noticed? Yes, they do. Martin Islamia. Am I allowed to use vernacular? Let's carry on. Martin Islamia, that's kind of like Women Fellowship for Muslims. There's Women Fellowship, there's Market Women Association. You know, women whose husbands are widows association. There's widows whose husbands. There's so many women groups. Widows whose husbands died in the war. Widows whose husbands died. You know, so women organize on these lines, and somehow we're able to organize, raise funds for things we want to do.
Exactly.
Do all these things. Adache, women do not miss, but Adache's contribution. That's really lost. Women do not miss out on that. So I'm wondering, how come we don't know how to? And we organize well for campaigns.
We do. Could it be that, exactly, could it be that things are being made deliberately difficult for us? Because I think this is now beyond us as far as I'm concerned. I feel like the men are really supportive, and meanwhile, they could make it less tighter for us to get in there.
You know, I've made this point before.
Right.
And I think this is something we should always keep again in the back of our mind. I don't think a man wakes up, like a man in politics wake up and think, how do I ruin it for women today? No. People wake up in politics and think, how do I ruin it for everyone else but myself? Like, but me. Exactly. So, like I said, if they are going to use your gender against you, they will use it. So we have to realize that that is what that is it, you understand?
So we
and then
begging for this
you can't be yes. So you have to look at your own
yards.
angle and think about yourself. Like, I really want this.
Exactly.
I really want
You have
this.
to go all out.
I'm going
Not
to go
making
all out for it.
excuses.
I'm going to go all out for this
Exactly.
thing that I want. And so we're not waiting for, okay, the men should consider us. I mean, we love men who stand for women causes, he for she's, as they call them, you know, he for she. But at the end of the day, nobody's going to do it for you.
You take it.
You know,
Another thing I may want to bring up is that, and in my part of the country, sorry to say, like, if a lady is so outspoken and comes out to say that she would want to contest and things like that, you know, she mingles a lot with people, she goes to events, organized political events and all of that. The next thing would be intimidation, and you'll be labeled a prostitute.
Yes.
And that would naturally make you shy.
But I want people to understand.
You get withdrawn.
Yes.
I would not really say it's standard. I believe one part of the country, I think, handles it better than the other.
I think it's everywhere, but I also think that women,
right,
we need to take away that cloak of shame.
Exactly.
Because I sit down and I look at every major politician in Nigeria, and once you step out, there are so many wild stories. And
You're so right.
There's so many wild stories.
So we're used to always wanting to be painted in a good light. We want to be
today at the program we're talking about cultural hindrances and everything. And I said, look, they will label you this and label you that. But I also made a statement. I said, you can't shame the shameless.
Exactly.
You can't shame the shameless. So there's no name they're going to put. Look, the men, you know, it's not easy. Politics is not easy for anyone. Male, female, hermaphrodite. It's not easy for anyone. It's in this same country, that, you know, let me say something tricky a bit, that somebody's son said that daddy impregnated my wife, and the person is still an elder statesman. He will come out for events. Whatever way you think about him is in your head. You can't walk up to that man and say, sir, I think you impregnated.
You wouldn't dare.
So it's fine.
I think it's about having a thick skin. Like,
you should bring up shame.
And so if somebody calls you whatever name, you know what? It's fine. Prostitute is the oldest profession in the world. It's bullying, and everybody faces it. So we can't just sit and say, okay, you know what? This is what they're saying about me. They're free to say. They say it in politics. They say it out of politics. We need to sit up and realize.
This is why mentorship is very critical, like you just mentioned. Exactly. It's about mentorship, you know. You need somebody to look up to, someone that will tell you, look, I've been through that and much worse, and look how I came out gloriously. So we need to start having such programs. Like you mentioned that, I'm very much interested in that.
We're creating an asset for older girls too. Great. I mean, you still don't follow it.
Well, I'm a small girl.
So older women in politics to tell their stories.
Which is what we're talking about. That women's stories need to be told. The average male politician, in and out of office, you will hear his name over and over and over again. Even when a woman is in office, you hardly get what she's doing, except it's a major scandal. So we need to start telling women stories. I think that there are so many solutions.
Look at how far Nigerian has risen. It's just incredible.
So these are
like that. There was the person from Kato who's late now, but she also made her mark. This Nigerian, you know, and these are all people. Exactly, this Nigerian too.
So we need to, and then there will be
Maryam. They were quite iconic.
There will be Maryam.
They also part.
Okay, so speaking solutions, you know, I've said a couple of solutions. So, Simi, what?
It's still back to say there's a massive education support.
Like I would still maintain my stance on mentorship. It's very critical. That will go a long way. But in so many ways, that would still be like education as well. It falls into that category. I agree with you, Simi. That makes a lot of sense. Awareness. You know, we need to launch that awareness.
And then women, we need to learn to stand together.
Absolutely. And what you talk about, throwing up all shame. We need to stop wanting to be the good people. You can be as bad as any other man.
Okay. And we need to come out there and stand for what we think is rightfully ours, you know, and stop playing the victims, you know, because we are not. We have to start not feeling like wants to be successful.
So we have come to the end of today's show.